Okay, so let's talk how I got 7 million, right? This was the team, and while the run is going, I will try to explain the best. Actually, no, I will cover the monsters first. So, Celia, standard pick. You need the Celia in this dungeon pretty much all the time. Healing, she gives mana regen, a little bit of it. And the most important buff from Celia, I would say, is the damage taken up if she manages to land it on the boss, as well as that damage up from the passive. That, what's it called? Attribute damage or just damage dealt up by 30%, right? That's the most important thing from Celia. Then we have a hwahee who is able to provide attack buff as well as an extra healing. Healing is whatever, we have Celia for that. But that attack buff is super helpful. She also does a lot of damage. Now, if you look at her multiplier, she actually does like 1.2 thousand multiplier on a single target if she hits a single target, which is the same as something like an Argen with, I believe, 2 debuffs, right? And yeah, you will land more than 2 debuffs most of the time. However, units like Argen will only do that, whereas hwahee is able to heal, she is able to consistently defense break, she is able to heal you up, and most importantly, attack buff your whole team, not just himself like Argen, which allows you to deal with the boss much easier. And the Wind Sylph actually. So a Wind Sylph is a super strong pick in here, and you will see why. So he recently got a buff. His first skill got lowered to 3 mana cost instead of 4. But what we're looking for here is the second skill. So each time that skill hits a target without any buffs, you will get level 1 mana regen. And it does stack on multiple targets. So as you can see here, I hit the skill and I currently have level 10 mana regen. And yeah, basically that's how you deal with the wave, at least that's how I deal with them. For the first 2 waves I run Fire Cliff, but on the second wave boss I quickly switch to Water one, and the reason I do that is Water skill 2 has a lower cooldown. After that, on wave 3 I switch to Wind, and I just continue using that mana ability. Usually it one-shots everything. Whenever the boss comes, essentially I switch my weapon to Water so that I would have that provoke ready, because with the fire one or with any other element the cooldown is just too high and I wouldn't be able to make it. Now for the 4th wave, when the light wave comes up, I will uncheck, let me quickly pause it, these buttons right here. So the button to target the same monster as my summoner, as well as follow me. I uncheck those because, first of all, I usually get stunned a lot. And if I get stunned, my monsters will not follow me as well as they would by walking themselves. And second of all, it allows units to deal with all of those light waves a bit more easier, because this is by far the hardest wave to deal with, especially because you get constantly slowed, you get stunned, all of that. After wave 5, everything goes the same as it was starting with wave 1. So Fire Cleave to kill everything, back to Water Cleave once the boss comes up. And yeah, the good thing about Wind Sylph as well is he is able to charge your ult a lot. And he's able to charge your ult a lot because ult charges based on how much mana you use, and it wouldn't work for something like a Verde heal where he lowers the cost of mana, because the less mana you use, the less ultimate gauge you also get. Whereas with mana regen, you actually spend more mana, so your ult charges a lot. As you can see, I think I used 1 ultimate and I'm close to getting a second one as well, just because of all of that mana regen. And yeah, this is the wave 7 boss, I believe, or wave 6. I think I managed to kill it. As you can see, yeah, I have the second ultimate, which allowed me to nuke the boss with hwahee. I use hwahee as the ultimate because she has a lot of multiplier. And yeah, just a few more hits on the last wave and you get the final score of 7.2 million. Now I'll show you the units. I have the runes recorded on them in case you are curious. Okay, and here the runes I have, you don't really need to have exactly same runes, but that's just what I had. So Celia just had my annual set. I could have put a more tanky set, but no, wait, not annual. This is my Juno set, I think. So basically she has decent HP to keep up with the healing, but also she has a little bit of crit hit damage and maximum accuracy, so she most importantly lands that skill 1 debuff. So heal block is whatever, it's just there for a stack, but the damage taken up is the most important one. And yeah, the more HP she has, the more she will heal, so make sure to stack it as well. I think she will probably, if you have a Josephine build, she would benefit from pretty much the same build, like HP damage based build. It doesn't have to be Despair is just what I had. Hwahee, so I soul connected her, which means she is fully awakened. All of the units I used here are fully maxed, like Awakening 15. And the cool reason about that is all of them appear in the events, so you will be able to get them very easily. Hwahee has an event right now, the Wind Sylph had an event like a week or two ago, and Celia is available for free from various guild boxes, right? For Hwahee, she is using my Fengyan set, but I changed the slot 6 to attack, I think, so she would be... I wanted to keep her tanky, so she doesn't get one-shot, but I also wanted a little bit more damage on her, so she sort of has a bruiser build, but if you feel like you can keep her alive pretty easily, I can also recommend going for a more damage-based build. Again, decent accuracy, decent critical rate, critical damage, a little bit of HP and defense for that sustain, so that she doesn't get RNG one-shot by the boss, and over 4k attack. And the Wind Sylph is built on full damage. I need him to be able to one-shot waves very easily, so even this, I would say, is not enough. So he's on critical rate, critical damage, attack build, Rage Blade, right? Accuracy doesn't really matter here. I mean, he can strip the boss attack buff, which helps you sustain a bit, but it's definitely not necessary. And I would have liked a bit more critical rate, and the reason for that is you are dealing with a lot of waves, like you're dealing with 12, 15, maybe 20 monsters at once. And even having 95% critical rate will miss a crit on one of those 20 units, right? So I would say if you are able to get, let's say, similar stats, I would easily lower my critical damage by like 20 to 30% just to get that critical rate maxed out, just so there is no RNG when it comes to clearing waves and you don't miss a minion. Because if you don't crit on one of those minions because of slightly lower critical rate, the whole run could be over. So yeah, be careful there, especially if you plan on using shimitae. Make sure his critical rate is close to max. And yeah, this mostly of course works for cleaves, so if you are a different summoner, you will probably need to experiment with having a provoke unit at the boss, especially if you're not able to kill the boss efficiently. I know some people just go through that damage taken up thing on the boss without any provoke, and if you can do that, go for it. I don't know how you managed to do twice as much needed damage without just removing it, but yeah, I mean, whenever you deal with the waves, you get out of combat pretty much instantly, so you are easily able to switch any unit right before the boss for free. So I would definitely, if you are able to switch that quickly, I would definitely recommend experimenting with that. Something like a Wind Penguin maybe, because he can give you cooldown boost for the next wave. You can like use him, he will provoke, he will give you cooldown boost, you quickly switch him out for something like a Celia, and you switch back Celia back in for when the waves come. But yeah, I'll leave that experiment up to you. My hand is not fast enough to switch all of that, especially since I have to switch weapons already. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed it, and peace.